All right, this is the Morrow Report podcast via the Victor Morrow Show. Let's get into it. Try to keep it Morrow Report themed here. Conflicting reports on just how many troops will be sent to the Middle East. Okay, the Washington Examiner and the Associated Press earlier this week said there would be 10,000 troops. The Pentagon planned to send 10,000 troops, but then President Trump, he shot that down and said he's only going to send 1,500 troops to the Middle East. Again, this is definitely in contrast to what has been said earlier this week. So it's a little bit of confusion as to what's really going on. I believe that there's a bigger plan. I believe the U.S. is looking, especially with John Bolton and Trump himself, they have reasons to want to start a war with Iran. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and play this. This is President Trump.
We want to have protection. The Middle East, we're going to be sending a relatively small number of troops, mostly protective, and some very talented people are going to the Middle East right now, and we'll see what happens. It'll be about 1,500 people. Well, I think it's going to be very good in the Middle East. Iran has been as you know, they stage terror all over the world. They're a much different country now than when I first got here. When I first got here, they were at 14 different locations fighting. Right now, I don't think Iran wants to fight. And I certainly don't think they want to fight with us. But they cannot have nuclear weapons. And under the Obama horrible agreement, they would have had nuclear weapons within 5 or 6 years. They can't have nuclear weapons, and they understand that.
They can't have nuclear weapons, and they understand that. This is the same, this is the same storyline that was given to you by George W. Bush. Weapons of mass destruction. We know they got them. It's the same thing. Now, I keep beating this dead horse. I've slaughtered this horse by now. Trump asked the Pentagon back in September of 2018 if they had a strategy to strike Iran. Okay? This is something that has been in the making. They are provoking and trying to get Iran to buck. It's like you keep stepping to someone, challenging them to a fight, because really the U.S. has another motive. Trump has another motive. And I'll get into that. Now, I'm talking about false flags here. The reason why I'm bringing up false flags is because both sides, both the U.S. and Iran, are hyping up this potential war. And all that has to happen now, because they've set the stage, they've given you the narrative, and all it takes is one major incident. And off we go into war. See, a lot of people right now are not really paying this much attention. People are looking into politics. When I look online, I see a lot of hate speech, a lot of shit talk back and forth from liberals and conservatives, right? Trash talk about Nancy Pelosi, trash talk about Trump. Is Trump a good president or not? Should he be impeached or not? But they're not looking at what's really important and what may be something major. This situation with Iran is getting nasty. And like I said, all it takes is one major incident. That's it. And off we go. It's already a proven fact. I set the tone by explaining that Trump has asked the Pentagon back in September of 2018 what was their strategy for war with Iran. And you have war hawk John Bolton right behind Trump, ready to go. And John Bolton has been wanting this for a very long time. And at the moment, Iran is being provoked. They're saying things that Trump wants them to say, that Bolton wants them to say online to make it look like they want war. As a matter of fact, in the I believe it was the Washington Examiner. I wrote about it at themorrowreport.com. It says, according to the Washington Examiner, the State Department is ordering all non-emergency government workers to leave Iraq. The Pentagon plan came after a rocket was fired in the direction of the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Okay. The Pentagon's plan came after a rocket was fired in the direction of the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Now, it is being said by both sides, both the U.S. and Iran. Trump is on Twitter saying Iran better not mess with the U.S. and the U.S. and Iran is saying the U.S. better not mess with Iran. So it's like a boxing match. Both fighters are saying, you don't want to get in the ring with me. The other fighter's saying, you don't want to get in the ring with me. So what do you think is going to happen? The promoters are going to say, hey, let's schedule this fight. And what I'm saying is the powers that be are definitely going to take advantage of this situation. Both the U.S. and Iran have set the stage and the whole world is watching. And the powers that be had Iran on this hit list all along. Let's get into it. Let's bring up the latest clip. This is from ITV News.
It's no longer just words that are escalating tension between the US and Iran. America's now ramped up its war plans, sending military reinforcements into the region. But it's the rhetoric that reveals the brinkmanship. If Iran wants to fight, that will be the official end of Iran, President Trump said in a tweet on Sunday. Never threaten the United States again. Not to be outdone, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif tweeted, economic terrorism and genocidal taunts won't end Iran. Never threaten an Iranian. Try respect. It works. And this morning, Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt urged Iran to take the threat seriously.
Do not underestimate the resolve on the US side in this situation. They are not seeking a conflict. They don't want a war with Iran. But if American interests are attacked, they will retaliate.
Now, this is bullshit. This is BS. He's saying the U.S. does not want a war with Iran, but if they feel the threat, they will retaliate. We've heard this before. Okay? BS.
And Washington feels provoked. Only today, Iran announced it had quadrupled its production of low-enriched uranium. This after America evacuated diplomatic staff from Baghdad following a missile attack it blamed on Iran. The State Department says their renewed military pressures are justified.
We're trying to de-escalate this by restoring deterrence against Iran's power projection. That is not going to happen with polite requests for them to start behaving like a normal nation. We are going to have to accept some risk.
The US military has a large naval base in Bahrain and more than 53,000 troops spread out across the region. Their B-52 and F-18 bombers have been flying sorties in the last week, and the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier is also positioned in the Arabian Sea, backed by an assault ship and a missile destroyer. The White House narrative is that the risk is all Iran's fault, as they restart their nuclear program and persist with a provocative foreign policy. But others say the risk's being taken by America because of a new hawkish influence in the White House that wants regime change at any cost.
Regime in Tehran.
In particular, this man, the National Security Advisor John Bolton, who before taking office made no secret of his position on Iran.
The declared policy of the United States of America should be the overthrow of the mullah's regime in Tehran.
Meanwhile, in Iran, US sanctions are biting hard. At this engineering factory in Tehran, the owner says her business may not survive.
There's no hope. Everybody is migrating away from Iran at the moment. There is no hope. There's nothing to live on. I feel scared, to be honest.
This is a game of brinkmanship, and any miscalculation could have serious consequences. Penny Marshall, News at 10, Washington.
Yep. So you see, this is a very critical time. Very critical. Get ready. And the media is prepping the people for something to go down with Iran. Now, I'm no psychic. I can't say whether or not the war will actually happen or not. But they're definitely prepping for something. They're preparing for something big. They're getting you ready. They did the same thing with Iraq. So, for the morons that are listening to this and go, this guy thinks he knows everything. I got that comment on the Facebook page. Some idiot wrote, this guy thinks he knows everything. No, I don't think I know everything. But I've seen this movie before. And I know how it goes. People are quick to forget things. But I don't. Remember when Trump was all up North Korea's ass? How many of you remember? He was all threatening Rocket Man, Kim Jong-un. Right? Trump, from the day he got in office, has been looking for a country to start some shit with. Okay? This situation with Iran is turning into something very serious. He may come on TV, and I'm talking about Trump. He may come on TV and say, I don't want a war with Iran. Hopefully we can keep this peaceful. But at the same time, he's trying to provoke Iran. And Iran, in return, is shit talking back to the United States. And this is why I say this could get very heated. So I never hear any of the conspiracy theorists, who are all conservatives, by the way. The majority of the conspiracy nut job idiots out here, including myself. I gotta call myself a nut job idiot because I'm somewhat of a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not a conservative. I'm independent. I don't care for either party. But the majority of these crazy ass whack job conspiracy theorists are, for some reason, conservatives. And I have to say that's mainly because of Alex Jones. Alex Jones made them believe that he was independent for a very long time. And then he slowly started moving towards the right. He wouldn't announce it in the beginning. He would call you an idiot or a moron if you called him a Republican or a conservative for a very long time. And his disguise was when he somewhat exposed George W. Bush and the Bush family with the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. But then came Obama, and he saw that as the perfect opportunity to start the shift towards the right, knowing that racism would cause a lot of his listeners to shift in that direction with him. Knowing that the hatred towards Democrats, it all worked in his favor. And then he finally came out and became a full-blown Republican when Trump got in office, and told everyone to rally behind Trump. And I'm saying all that to say this. Why are you bringing this up, Victor Morrow? I'm bringing it up because of this. Trump is beating the same war drum that George W. Bush drum. The same one that he beat. It's the same drum. That's what I was trying to say. He's beating the same damn drum. Okay? And it's so amazing to me to see this guy get a pass from all of the conspiracy nut jobs out there. All this talk about Illuminati, the elite, the powers that be. But yet you give Trump a pass. Trump is definitely not fighting the deep state. Trump is the deep state. Trump is a puppet for the deep state. So I don't get where everyone is, all of you, I go to these conspiracy websites just to see what they're talking about. It's all pro-Trump. It's all pro-Republican, all pro-conservative. The Democrats are the enemies of the people. Where did you get that bullshit from? I remember back in the day when they used to say that both parties were working for the deep state. Now it's only the Democrats. Since when? Since when did the Republicans become the freedom fighters? When? When did that happen? But you believe in Trump? The man that over the years have dedicated to the Clinton Foundation? the man that supported Bill Clinton back in the day? What if all of this is bullshit? What if Donald Trump is playing all of you? He said he was going to lock Hillary Clinton up when he got in office. He has not locked up Hillary. And none of you are calling him out for it. He hasn't done any of that shit that he said he was going to do. I find it amazing that you people can be so stupid. And now you're going to turn around and support this upcoming war with Iran. I've read this on the conspiracy sites. Donald Trump is sending a strong message to Iran by sending the USS carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier. They're bragging. Oh, look at what John Bolton. Look at what John Bolton has done. He's showing Iran how badass the American military is, the U.S. military is. But I thought you were supposed to be against that kind of shit. Now you're pro-war because it's Trump? You're pro-war now? And it's obvious that they're looking for a reason to start a war. There's no real reason. What happened to all the false flag talk y'all used to do? Remember that? Remember the false flags that Alex Jones used to talk about? Oh, so now there's no false flags because Trump is there. Trump is the perfect cover for the deep state. Trump is the one person that can pull all these false flags off and convince the so-called freedom fighters or the patriots to go to war because you believe he's on your side. I just want to go back to something that Trump said. Trump said Iran stages terror all over the world. The U.S. has more bases in more countries than any other country or military in this world. Nobody has, no other military has staged more terror than the United States military. The United States military is always sticking their nose in other people's business, telling other people how to live, destroying nations and then building them back up, claiming they want to free people. And we've seen what the U.S. military has done in the past. Okay? Now, that's not to say that all these other nations don't have their faults, right? That's not to say that at all, or to even imply that Iran is squeaky clean or anything like that. What I'm saying is this. America has a way of, whenever it's convenient for the president that is in office, they have a way of finding these terrorists, or all of a sudden there's a terrorist threat. And it's always in the most convenient time. The timing of it is what's always the most telling to me. I believe And Trump is crazy, but he's also very clever. I won't say he's wise, but he's clever. He knows how to get out of trouble because he's always getting into trouble. I always say this. People that never get in trouble don't know what to do when trouble comes. People that are constantly getting into trouble, you might look at them and say that they're crazy or they're knuckleheads or they're always getting into stuff. But those people know how to get out of it because they're constantly in it, right? Trump needs this war with Iran. I don't care what he says. He's saying one thing out of his mouth, like, I don't want to go to war. No one wants a war. Actions speak louder than words, right? Old cliche. The fact that he asked the Pentagon back in September, what was their strategy to go to war with Iran? If they had a strategy in place, those were his words. Did they have a strategy in place for Iran? That's, to me, that's all that needs to be said. You want something to happen. So one of the things that they like to do is give you these reports about, like they did with Bush, weapons of mass destruction and terror threats and terrorist threats and all of this. But anyway, check this out. This is from the Business Insider. This is from May 7, 2019, right? Says the U.S. sent an aircraft carrier to send a message to Iran. Okay. The USS Abraham Lincoln. All right. John Bolton, President Donald Trump's national security advisor, announced on Sunday that the U.S. would use the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier to send a message to Iran. U.S. officials told multiple publications that they found intelligence indicating Iran may soon attack U.S. forces. Okay, this is all about drumming up war. This is all about making it look like there's this real threat here so that they can lay down the groundwork. They're sowing the seeds of war so that America doesn't look like the bully. You want to talk about fake news? This is fake news. Where is this coming from? Intelligence is saying this. I thought Trump didn't trust this intelligence. Didn't Trump say he knows more than his intelligence do? Now all of a sudden he trusts his intelligence when it's convenient for him. Here's another post. It says, Iran has long fantasized about sinking a U.S. aircraft carrier and harass the U.S. Navy. Where did they get that from? Where is this coming from? All of a sudden. You see what I mean? We never even heard of this crap. Where did this come from? Iran has long fantasized about sinking a U.S. aircraft carrier. So you send an aircraft carrier over there, hoping that they do something. Think about what is being said here. Just take a second, listen. At the top of the page, it says, John Bolton, President Donald Trump's national security advisor, announced on Sunday that the U.S. would use the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier to send a message to Iran. Right? So they send the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier. Then they turn around at the bottom and say, Iran has long fantasized about sinking a U.S. aircraft carrier and harass the Navy. Okay, so in a roundabout way, what they're saying is the U.S. is trying to provoke Iran. If that part is true. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, saying Iran has long fantasized about sinking a U.S. aircraft carrier. Where the hell did you get that from? And look at the timing of it. Okay? This is Trump, the Trump administration, wanting to start a war. But they don't want to start a war out of nowhere. They need a reason. They need an excuse. As Alex Jones would like to say, be prepared for a false flag. It could very well happen. Because if Iran doesn't do it, if Iran doesn't strike or attack, then you can look for a false flag. Jones doesn't talk about that anymore. He used to. Until his buddy Trump paid him off. Okay. So again, I'm gonna come back in a minute. I'm telling you right now, I smell a rat. I smell a rat. And I try not to go down the conspiracy theory route as much these days as I used to in the past. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I had to go with my gut instinct, I smell a rat. And it stinks. I smell false flag. Something, I don't even want to go there. I'll be back in a minute. You're listening to the Morrow Report podcast via the Victor Morrow Show. All right, in closing, I'm going to say this. Look for a lot of news coverage on this because they have to justify their next move. The United States has to justify going to war with Iran, which is why they sent those 1,500 troops or are sending those 1,500 troops over to the Middle East, because I believe it's there that the S is going to hit the fan. I predict that they will try to stage an event where it looks like Iran shot at military personnel. And then off we go into war. They're already putting that out there in the media. But I believe it's going to get ramped up a little bit. I believe that they're going to take this to the next level. They're going to make it seem as if Iran is really attacking U.S. military personnel. And that will justify the war that they've already had in plan. If you go online, you can find that the United States has been looking for an excuse to go to war with Iran since 2001. There was a list that was made of the countries that the United States wanted to target Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya. They were all on that list. And you know Iran is definitely at the top of that list now. So I predicted the news media will fan the flames to make it look like war is necessary. They will make it look like there's just so much going on over in the Middle East. There's just so much tension between the U.S. and Iran.
This past week, the already difficult relationship between the U.S. and Iran has become even more tense. Administration officials have warned that they would respond with, quote, unrelenting force to any Iranian attack. Tehran has threatened to exceed caps on its nuclear program. And today, Saudi Arabia says that rebels in Yemen, who are believed to be backed by Iran, staged a major attack. Our Nick Schifrin is here with an update. Hello, Nick.
You see? I think you can expect a lot of that. And if that's not good enough for you, trust me, there's more.
We're joined by Dr. Rebecca Grant. She's national security and a military analyst and president of IRIS Independent Research. So, Dr. Grant, we just heard General Keane say that the administration likely has good intelligence that there's a threat to U.S. troops in the region. What do you think they have, and how serious is that threat?
Iran is reacting to the sanctions, and I think there's clearly some good intelligence. I think that's why Secretary Pompeo stopped off in Iraq. So what they're seeing is increased indications and warning of possible threats to our forces there. We have planes flying out of several bases, 5,000 forces in Iraq, U.S. Navy forces there. But the problem with Iran is you've got to send a really bold message. It's got to be all caps, and it has to say, don't try it.
See that? See, you make the first move and then claim that they're the ones that make the first move. You're going to let them know that you mean business. Now, what are they supposed to do? What are they going to do? They're going to go, well, we mean business too. This is how the fight starts.
Why we see this extra level of military forces going into the region.
You know what some of the critics are saying? They are accusing the administration of trying to hype this up. Here's Chuck Hagel, former Obama defense secretary, saying, quote, it's not unusual to have an aircraft battle group in the Persian Gulf. We do that all the time. But I'm concerned that this administration is baiting Iran in a very dangerous way.
Yeah. That's right. That's exactly what they're doing. And with that, I'm going to close the show out. Thank you for listening. This is the Morrow Report podcast via Victor Morrow Show, VictorMorrowShow.com, TheMorrowReport.com. All of my blogs are there. Go check it out. Until next time, peace.